For as long as I can remember, Aubrey Graham has ran the game of hip-hop. And I mean, he has been running the game. Whether you look at what he's done sales-wise and numbers-wise, the lyrics he has come to be known for being pretty fire with on certain album cuts and features like Churchill Downs with Jack Harlow, or solely the impact he's had on music as a whole, it's nearly impossible to name anyone other than Drake as the top spot holder of the rap game within the 2010s decade consensusly. If they aren't named Kanye, Jermaine, or Kendrick, it's a blasphemous argument. Drizzy, as most of you watching this video know, began his reign around the very beginning of the 2010s, becoming a go-to hitmaker for already established legends before creating his own lane over the years with classics like Take Care, Nothing Was the Same, If You're Reading This It's Too Late, etc. And with the heights, or views perhaps, that he's hit within his career, it has become a huge question within the hip-hop fan community. Can anyone else reach the heights the great Canadian lover boy reached as a rapper in the mainstream music world? While it's an uphill climb to reach the heights of a Drake or even a Kendrick Cole or Ye for that matter, I do look around in hip-hop today and see a few candidates to take Drizzy's spot. And in today's video, I'd like to offer some names and explanations for said names on my short list of possible new number unos. Before I get into some of these names, if you want more hip-hop essay content like this, subscribe, like, and comment what you'd like to see me break down in the future. We growing crazy right now. We got big plans for 2023, I promise you. Now let's dive into some possible replacements for the top spot in hip-hop entering the rest of the 2020s decade. I'm going to start with who is, to me, the most obvious answer of them all. Jackman Thomas Harlow. Now, I'll be the first to tell you Harlow's most recent offering, Come Home the Kids Miss You, while not awful, was extremely mid and disappointing. I had high hopes entering the project, coming off what I found to be a great project in 2020 with That's What They All Say. And while he didn't deliver in my eyes, nor the larger part of the hip-hop commentators across the country with The Kids Miss You, I think it just may have succeeded in doing something that Drake was ridiculed a ton for early in his career. Getting the women on his side, with what may be a little bit of corniness mixed with easy songs to sing along to and or play in the background. The album brought little to no substance in terms of anything beyond surface level thinking, and I feel this is something Drake has had an issue with too in the past, according to a lot of critics. And even when his project doesn't have the best bars, concepts, or substance, it still sells and still hits huge on a mainstream level. And that's because it often appeals to a completely different demographic than your typical obsessed hip-hop fan, the women. Jack has already shown the ability to make hits effortlessly, as records like First Class Going #1 shows. I actually found the song quite enjoyable, and don't get me wrong, I did take parts of the album I really liked. But here's the part of all of this that really makes me see the comparison here. If you don't hear it on Come Home the Kids Miss You or That's What They All Say, look back at some of Jack's old mixtapes and you'll hear a lot of Drake influence. Almost like Drake could have wrote it, in my opinion. Although he obviously didn't. Take the record Knack For It from his 2018 tape Loose, for example.
She got a knack for it. Even my best friends done fell in love with her before.
Or Ninth Grade from the same project.
Child on the asphalt, ass with the tan lines.
Now, let's not forget that when Jack bursted onto the scene with records like What's Poppin' and Tyler Herro, he was getting a lot of W's from the guys. At his best, Jack makes music that is simple and not too deep, but can include a clever bar here and there and appeals to all audiences, which is almost exactly parallel to what I see as Drake's best features. And while he was a lot better with early projects than Jack was on Come Home the Kids Miss You, remember, a lot of guys would hate on Drake early for being corny, as they are doing now with Jack. Fast forward to when he drops something hard again, like If You're Reading This It's Too Late, and boom, all the fellas back on the bandwagon. I'm essentially saying that Jack's chance of this comparison coming into fruition all depends on his ability to deliver with his next album and make something hard enough to get the gentleman back on his team and off the hate train again. Jack Harlow could very well be the next Drake. Another artist that may be a bit of a wild card and or dark horse in this discussion to some is my man Two Phone Baby Keem. Baby Keem exploded onto the scene initially with his Die For My Bitch project in 2019, where the song Orange Soda would explode into one of the more acclaimed breakout songs in hip-hop for the year, making an appearance on the Billboard Top 200 for Keem's first hit record, albeit a sleeper hit that kind of exploded a while after its release. Fast forward to 2021, where Keem will release his debut studio album, The Melodic Blue, which to me and many others is an instant classic and one of the best albums of the decade thus far. Keem's quirky flows and baby voice inflections, in addition to easy melodies for the listener to be hooked to, combine to make his star power not only limitless, but extremely unique. One angle of this comparison that is interesting is that Drake notoriously had Wayne usher him into the game and eventually passed him up in the eyes of the public, even as goated as Wayne was. Keem has been ushered into the mainstream limelight with, and while being signed to, his cousin, the one and only Kendrick Lamar. Hence, Keem's first huge hit record, Family Ties, which would go on to win Keem a Grammy, while also shedding light on how amazing the rest of his album was for anyone who would give the full record a spin after hearing the single. Keem would sell a decently impressive 53,000 sales first week, but even better yet, the album's longevity would prove to be very, very solid, as about a year later, most individuals I know who loved the project off first listen would tell me nothing's changed. And if anything, with the drop of the deluxe about a year later here in 2022, the album has grown on people. Songs like Lost Souls with Brent Faiyaz and 16 have blown up streaming-wise without any real single push for them. These things, along with his versatility, are immediate signs of Keem being around for a long time and at a super high level, and how high he takes it is solely on him. Speaking of high level, my man Lil Baby has been considered the one since the moment he popped. Baby's development of skills so quickly has had people wondering for a long time if it is him who will take over Drizzy at the top of hip-hop. However, there's one big thing that might haunt Baby's ability to get there: the inability to appeal to all audiences, at least as well as some of the other artists I've named. Not to say Baby doesn't have songs for girls or songs that are jingles that parents even may like, but what makes Drake Drake is the fact that the sliding audience, the female audience, and most adult audiences can all find his music at least somewhat enjoyable. Not to say the same doesn't exist for Lil Baby, but who do you see a 50-year-old Karen being more willing to listen to? An American sweetheart like a Jack Harlow or Chance the Rapper, or a real street nigga like Baby or 21 Savage? While there's nothing wrong with the fact that they stick to their roots and rap what they know, it can become limiting at a level. If we can see Baby make that complete Jay-Z transition and find a way to drop hits so universal that all demographics and mass amounts enjoy it, he has an obvious and real chance of taking Drake's spot. Lil Durk and NBA Youngboy, while maybe a little bit less than him, both have a chance too if they can add this same quality to their work. Lil Baby already has the talent, skill, and experience of what it takes to make a hit that appeals to all. See Close Friends or Whoa. But you can hear in his latest work he still is really a trenches baby musically and speaks for the hood. And while that is what got him as far as he did in the first place, it very well could be the same reason he doesn't become the same level of a global superstar that Drake has become. Now, for sort of parallel reasons, I also think it may be an uphill battle for my next candidate to take that spot from Drizzy, and that candidate is Playboy Cardi. Cardi's first two projects, self-titled and Die-Lit, created a huge, strong core fan base for him, but Whole Lotta Red, his late 2020 offering, put him in a different stratosphere in terms of fan base size, and it has the anticipation for his next album off the chain, especially within the Cardi Staniverse. Cardi's ability to take his career to the next level, however, all depends on his ability to be more versatile and much less niche with his sound. The insane instrumentals over sometimes screeching and otherworldly melodies can make it hard in the long run to break that barrier globally and with older audiences, or any audience that isn't into live performances in the rage scene. While it is extremely distinct and a sound he created himself, Cardi's style too will have a cap, as will Lil Baby's street-centered trap bangers. Essentially, the main key to being the next Drizzy for all of these artists is to be as adapting as possible, being able to reach into different genres and different demographics, as that is what Drake is. An artist that can do many different things musically at a high level and does, as you can see the difference in albums like If You're Reading This It's Too Late in comparison to A Views or A More Life. If Cardi can make something more universal and digestible moving forward, while keeping it close enough to original Cardi vibes to keep his core fans around, he could be a wildcard candidate to take that spot at the top of the ever-so-changing rap game. Lastly, but not leastly at all, would be another rager, and maybe the one that is the closest to Drake's level already, in Travis motherfucking Scott. While a lot of Travis's career existed early on and into the mid and late 2010s era, he has an opportunity in front of him to surpass everyone in the field with his upcoming work. Astroworld, his most recent project, which I personally would deem an instant classic, even if it isn't my favorite nor his best work in my opinion, sold over 500,000 copies first week, a feat that only Eminem, Kanye, Kendrick, Wayne, and Drake have captured in terms of active hip-hop artists. This coming after two incredible projects like Rodeo and Birds in the Trap Sing McKnight, which is my personal favorite offering of Travis's, makes for an extremely promising start to his discography, and with his album Utopia being rumored to drop in 2023, even after the fiasco and tragedy that was the Astroworld Fest incident, he has a major chance to take the top spot in the genre. Travis's music has just enough mainstream appeal to result in diamond plaques like Goosebumps, and just enough of a core rage audience still with him that, unfortunately at times, can create insane atmospheres on tour and at shows. Aside from even the music though, his celebrity has only grown over time, from notoriously being the lover of Kylie Jenner and a part of that whole family, having his own character and throwing concerts on video games like Fortnite, to having his own meal at McDonald's. This all only furthers his chances of taking the spot at the top of the game, as when great music and incredible marketability meet, the Drake effect is created. Aside from those 5 main guys, I do think some young guns from the likes of Durk and Youngboy, as I mentioned earlier in the video, to guys like Cordae in the lyrical realm do have a chance depending on where their career goes to take that spot. However, I feel Jack, Keem, Cardi, Baby, and Travis are the main 5 I'd look out for in the near future in terms of taking the throne in the industry. That'll wrap up today's quick essay video for you all. Comment below and please let me know any and everyone I might have forgot or left off. Let me know I'm a crazy ass nigga if I am. And let me know which of the 4 I did name you feel have the best chance at the throne. Subscribe, like, and comment for the best hip-hop content on the web almost daily. And make sure you tap in with some of the other work on the channel. The road to 100K begins now in the hundreds, and I can't thank all of the early supporters of Instant Classic enough. Tune in to our podcast every Saturday night and follow us on socials, which will be in the description. Whole lot of dope shit coming at y'all here soon. That's a wrap. Deuces.